Welcome to Talk Dirt to Me, where two farmers shatter myths and take on the top issues facing America's farmers. Here's your hosts, Logan and Bobby Lee.
What's up, everybody?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I got my water.
Yeah, I don't have anything to drink, so.
Yeah, and I don't have any. There's some whiskey over there. You could get you some whiskey.
Well, one of the reasons we're recording right here when we are, well, one, I just don't like to record really late at night. I'm not quite the night owl you are, and two, we both got to go pick up kids when we get done here. So.
Yep, and it would have to have been pretty late tonight because my son's got a pep rally and a basketball game tonight.
Okay, yeah, because
so this worked out.
I woke up this morning, I was like, man, I am tired, and I'm gonna what day is today? Thursday. Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah, episode will drop tomorrow. And I'm gonna be duck hunting this weekend. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be all out of sleep if I was like, I'm gonna try to do it this afternoon. So yeah, here we are, afternoon recording edition.
Yep, afternoon. And before we dive off into deep, first need you guys to leave us a rating and a review. Still, like I said, our Apple folks letting us down. Spotify folks are just crushing the crap out of it. We did hit a goal. I think what we had set a goal, was it last year, or when did we say, or maybe it was at the beginning, we said we wanted to get to 600 total.
Yeah.
We are at, right now, 604.
There we go.
So we have surpassed it, primarily thanks to our Spotify folks crushing the hell out of it. And man, I got to hand it to you. Our YouTube folks have been showing out. We've been getting good comments. And, guys, love the feedback. We've got a lot of, and I don't know if Apple, I don't have an Apple phone, but like Spotify, I'll give a shout out real quick. People can write comments on Spotify. I don't know that you have that ability on Apple, but I'm going to read some of our comments because I like to give a shout out. So on our last episode we had with Taylor, somebody said, fake news, Elgin earplugs are not made in USA. Well, and I said, bummer. And I kind of wondered.
There's that kind of whole thing, and there's a lot of companies like this, designed in the USA versus made in USA. But hey, for a guest, for putting him on the spot.
Yeah, he did. And I thought he did all right. We cut him some slack.
Yeah, we cut a little slack there.
Yeah, I just said, bummer. Eric writes, great show, guys, but I think you missed the cocaine mention. I did.
I think you did too. Yeah.
Dang it.
Of course, yeah, when there's, you can obviously slide those in there with a guest too, but.
And I was like, even thinking about it ahead of time, like, NASCAR driver, I could definitely tie some cocaine ties into that, but
not accusing anybody of anything.
No. But like, if I was going to drive fast for a living, I feel like doing some cocaine just kind of comes with the territory.
Yeah. I don't have any experience.
I feel like it'd make me drive faster.
I don't have any experience driving a NASCAR or doing cocaine.
Oh, I was going to say, but you do with cocaine.
Neither. I don't know if that's, I was going to say unfortunately. I don't know.
I got a buddy that would say unfortunately to that, but so that actually kills two birds with one stone because we just mentioned the cocaine. Yeah. If I was a NASCAR driver, I feel like I would do cocaine just because you're going fast. I don't know, something about it.
Yeah,
I didn't ask Taylor about that. Taylor seemed like a pretty straight up guy, but I don't think that he was doing blow before he raced. So
yeah. I don't know if it would be as beneficial for a crew chief as it would be because he needs to be pretty clear minded.
Yeah.
Probably the maybe the pit crew, they're jumping over the wall.
I bet it would be pretty beneficial for them guys, going just balls to the wall.
Yeah, I don't have any experience to add to that, but yeah, you're right. So that was, man.
There you go. And then on the farm fraud one, Chris writes in, love listening to you guys on my 5-mile walks. Really enjoy watching Hurricane Channel on YouTube. Man, 5-mile walk sounds awful. And but appreciate you watching, man. And there's your little shout out. Ace writes, great show. I say Logan and Bobby Lee should be the next guests on the Joe Rogan Experience. And I said, we're just waiting on the invite.
Yeah, waiting on the call. So I could probably get away to Austin for a day or two.
I think for that we could make it happen. And I would be, Joe needs to have a song because I feel like Joe he needs to hear the normal
the conventional
farmer
agriculture
guys.
side of thing. And not that I, what is normal, but we're not the
fringe regenerative. And I'm not hating on them. Like I said, I like a lot of the regenerative thing. It's a direction I'd like to move towards. But
I don't listen to a lot of Rogan, but I have listened, if it's somebody that I really like. I know when Dale Brisby was on with him, he kind of pushed back at the, they were, of course, got along.
Yeah.
Joe's pretty good about it. They don't ever just, I don't know. I'm sure at some point he's really gotten sideways with a guest. But,
yeah, with Stephen, he's a political commentator. Oh, man, he's a Canadian guy. He's a conservative. He's like a comedian. And, you know what I'm talking about?
Nah.
Steven Crowder. Have you ever heard of Steven Crowder?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, it was very uncomfortable. I got uncomfortable listening to it. It got so bad.
I didn't realize Crowder was Canadian.
Yeah, he's from Canada. But they got to talking about marijuana. And, Joe loves his marijuana. And Crowder was like, he basically said that where they've legalized marijuana, the crash rates have increased on vehicles. And Joe was like, well, and he kind of pushed back, and Crowder was like, well, man, I'm just telling you, it does. It's not good. Crowder was not a fan, and it got unpleasant. Joe was like, that's because you're a little bitch. And Crowder's like, man, I don't know why you're saying. Joe's like, you're a bitch, man. It got really uncomfortable.
Well, with the Dale Brisby thing, he was just, of course, Joe's all like, everything's got to be grass fed.
Yeah.
He was like, no, he's like, we're more traditional, farming, on the cattle side of things, but yeah.
But Joe says that because that's what he's talked to guys like Will Harris?
Yeah.
And Will is like, live or die grass fed and all that. And I don't care if that's your prerogative, but it's kind of the thing we get onto with the good ranchers that demonize the other beef guys. Like, come on, man.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
We got enough enemies outside the gates.
Yeah, to not be fighting amongst ourselves. Exactly. So,
yeah. So, yeah, we're just waiting on the invite. Guys, we do appreciate all the ratings and reviews. Keep sending them. And I think we need to hit 1,000 this year. Pretty good goal.
Oh, yeah. By the end of the year, heck yeah.
Yep. And comment to us on YouTube. And what else do they need to do?
Yeah, go to agzaga.com. Use the discount code TalkDirt, all caps, all one word. Yeah, check out all the good stuff. I got, they're running a special this week. I think it was on bale spears.
Okay.
And some other things. And when you go in there and you sign up an account with them, they don't spam you to death with emails or anything, like maybe one or two a week, and where, just basically saying, hey, we got this on special right now. The bale net wrap, all that stuff, I've already stocked up for this year on those things. But yeah, the best part is you never have to pay full price. Take that 10% off with that code.
There you go. Talk Dirt, all caps, all one word. Guys, go to talkdirtpodcast.com and submit your questions on there. Send them to our email. It's easier to keep up with there. So, man, I've had an interesting couple of days.
Well, let's hear about it.
I actually busted out the GoPro.
All right.
Yes, I haven't edited it yet, but I got a video in the tank, or got a video that's got to be edited to go on YouTube for my LH Farms. Everybody that's been bugging the shit out of me. No, I appreciate it, but I do got a video to edit. And it's more of the farm store thing. People are like, man, we want to see what's going on. So I've been experimenting this week. I made candles and some whipped tallow out of beef tallow.
For lotion?
Yep. And the candles are pretty cool, man. It's super easy, man. This is all stuff we're going to put in the store. And I've linked up with our local grocery store, and I'm buying their fat. I done talked to their butchers, and I go and buy, they package them up, and I get the fat. And I rendered some last night. I'm still learning that process. But, it's quite the process to that.
Yeah. Well, I would definitely be interested in buying a little of the lotion stuff. You can see my fingers. I'm just bloody knuckles.
Oh yeah, my knuckles usually get awful.
This time of year, I'm not like a big lotion guy. In which I have a bottle there at the office because, of course, we wash our hands 40 times a day there, and so I'm constantly all right, I got to remind myself to I'll just be putting my hand in and out of my pocket, and I'll be like, damn. Bleeding again. Yep,
I'll do that.
So rough and cracked. And
when I was, which you like you say, you're the same, having to wash your hands. But when I was machining, we used to keep denatured alcohol that we would clean off the oil off a part. And every now and then, just out of habit, because you'd get a little oil on your hands, you would just get some and wash your hands kind of in it. And in the wintertime, dude, man, my knuckles would just be like cracked open, and I'd have to put stuff on them, and which that's kind of my plan. We got a ton of people interested in the lotions, and we're going to definitely do, my wife, she's got some scents, and we're going to do some unscented, but I'm going to do some. I'm like, man, I'm going to give some balls, man. You know, like
some masculine.
Yeah, some masculine scents and stuff. Kind of give it like a cool name, like
gasoline,
like Throat Ripper or something. You know, like, I don't know. You know, you just got to have a cool testosterone type name.
Yeah. The Grim Reaper.
The Grim Reaper. Yeah.
Smells like death.
Yes. But
that one might not sell.
Well, I don't know. Liquid Death has done really well.
Yeah, the energy drink.
Yes. So
that one does kind of crack me up because, you know, kind of the stereotype with those is they're not very good for you.
Yeah.
And then they literally...
it's just water.
They just leaned into it. Liquid Death.
Yeah, that's just water, though.
Yeah.
It's not any... there's no energy drink in it.
Yeah.
There is an energy drink trying to spoof off of them.
A little sugar, but...
Does it have sugar in it?
Yeah, 4 grams of added sugars.
There you go. Now their original was just like carbonated water or sparkling water. That one is, and they got badass names, Squeezed to Death. There's like I don't know, something Mango Chainsaw is a good one. Yeah. And that's what I'm like, I'm on some of the dude stuff. I'm gonna kind of lean into that kind of thing.
Oh yeah. But you see like these little, little boutique soap shops and stuff. A lot of them have masculine scents too. Every now and then my wife will, frequent those places and she'll bring home a bar. I'm like, okay, good. That's a good manly smell.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. I think Buff City has like the Commando or something. Yeah. That's like camouflage looking. And, but no, it's something we've been working on, and the candles are easy as hell, man. Like I literally just melted the tallow, put the scent in there. You got to put a little bit, you got to tweak the scent, and then you just pour it in and let it set up and cure for several days.
Yeah.
But in my YouTube video that I've got to put up, I said this too. It's funny. As I was making this stuff, I was like, back when I was like a teenager, I'd have been like, ain't no way I'm going to be making candles or something.
Yeah.
That's gay. Like I wouldn't make that. But then you see, dude, little candles, like small candles sell for like $20. And like then seeing, and this tallow and this kind of healthy movement we're seeing, actually the less ingredients in the product, the higher the price. Yeah. Like people literally want it with like nothing in it. And so these, like our candles are just legitimately 100% beef tallow and some scented oil.
Yeah, add the scent to it. Yeah.
Yep. And like the lotions, they'll be beef tallow with some essential oils in them. So they're supposed to have, which that's something I'm kind of tinkering with because, man, lifting weights too, like my elbows and stuff bother me sometimes. So I'm going to try to make a icy hot like salve, but it's going to be like a natural, kind of that natural stuff like peppermint oils and things like that. So that's kind of the route we're going, but it's been interesting.
Yeah.
Rendering the fat is an odd smell. Have you ever done that?
Never have.
I did it in the garage 'cause it's been so cold. I got 2 crock pots, and the fat, I pushed a buggy back. I got 40 pounds from out in Covington and 16 pounds up here in Munford. And so encourage you guys, like if this is something you're considering getting into in your area, don't hesitate to reach out to your local grocery stores. I mean, I literally contacted our
local grocery stores, butcher shop, anything like that. Yeah.
Yep. I contacted them, and one of the stores, they were like, yeah, we actually haven't even been saving it.
It's just waste. Yeah.
Yeah.
If they don't have somebody that wants it. Yeah.
I was going to say, some people will get it and apparently like probably with deer meat, grind it up into their deer meat.
Oh yeah. Which a lot of our local, deer processors, they'll add beef fat or pork fat to your ground deer meat if you want to, like try to make like actual hamburgers out of it. You need that venison's so lean.
Yeah.
It's hard to, at least in my opinion, I think just a venison cheeseburger, unless you got a lot of fat added, is not the most palatable.
Yeah.
I definitely prefer a beef burger.
Yes.
I use my ground deer meat mainly just like in chili and tacos and stuff like that.
Yep. No, I totally agree. And that's what it was funny. The dude, like, I could tell nobody had been buying it from this one store for sure, because I went back there to the butcher and I was like, man, he was like, are you Logan? I said, yeah. And he said, all right. I said, you talked to her already? And he said, yep. He said, how much you want? I said, how much you got? And he said, well, I don't know, we got it right here. And he weighed, he said, he got 16 pounds. I said, I want all of it. And he goes, are you going to need more? And I said, yeah. And he said, how much more? And I said, all of it. I said, I want every bit of it that you got. And he said, oh, well, I get it every day. I cut it off every day. And I said, well, every few days I'll come pick it up.
Yeah.
And I said, because I want it all. Because the plan is, and it takes a lot to make the tallow. Because I cut up 16 pounds last night and put them in the crock pots. And it cooked down, and I got to melt it again and strain it again. Like, you got to really clean it, like get all the stuff out of it.
All the solids, yeah.
Yep. And so I got to do that again. But it's not, like, for the amount of volume of, like, chunks that you put in there, because I cut them up into, like, 1-inch chunks. And I'm going to, and I'm also, like, cutting off any bits of meat that are left.
Anything you can see, yeah.
Yep. I mean, you're not going to get all of it, but like sometimes there's a big chunk of meat and I'll just cut it off and clean it up and throw it in there. And it cooks for about 6 hours in just low setting on the crock pot. And I mean, it stuff comes up, but it's about half the pot is full of the liquid now, almost half off of 16 pounds. So it takes a good bit, but, my plan is if we keep getting enough of this stuff and we build up enough and say we got plenty of lotion, we got plenty of, I mean, we want to get into the soaps and everything. I told my wife, I said, well, we'll just sell the tallow. Like, because people have contacted us and they're like, I just want some tallow, like for cooking with.
Yeah, because it's hard to find. What I used to cook with, I have to order it like from Amazon.
Yeah.
You could probably find a specialty grocery store somewhere around here that might sell it, but it's not one of those things. Although it may get to be more like that.
I think it will.
I saw where I think Steak and Shake, so they're going to start frying their fries in beef tallow. It's like the first like big, chain or anything that I've heard of that's officially said they're going to do that. But
yeah, I think they were putting pressure on like McDonald's.
Yeah,
wanting them, because apparently they used to use beef tallow, and they had shifted, but but yeah. So that's what I've been working on, and I'm curious your thoughts on this. So it's now Brock actually and I were just talking about how astronomically high beef is right now. Like if you were to sell cattle, like I think he showed me, it's like, is it $4 a pound?
Well, depending on what weight you want to buy them at. Fat cattle, so just live cattle, they're officially over $2 on the futures on the board for right now, that was kind of that magic number, like because there's been sales, when you look at just individual quotes, plenty of them going way over $2, but now officially the board, I think it went over yesterday was the first time, and then I checked a little earlier today. February live cattle are at $200.77 per 100. But yeah.
Why do they do it that way? Why can't you just say per pound?
Well, because then it'd be like, because you're getting all the way out into cents per 100 weight.
I got you.
Because, that's why they do that.
I always wondered, I'm like, man, why don't they just make it freaking per pound?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was looking, because we're getting ready. I was actually talking to some people.
Wasn't it like 500 pounders were about 500 to 700 pounds worth $4?
So, and this is some local, and you get like out in like Kansas, Nebraska, some of those areas, Joplin, you get even higher quotes, but the barn that we buy and sell most of ours through, they had a truckload at 584. These were steers, and they were mixed. They were, about half of them were black. So 584 brought 321.
Dang.
And then up at the biggest ones, they had a bunch of truckloads. They had like 5 straight loads on Monday. Had one at 842. Now these were all black, and they brought 265. So
pretty good money.
Well, and like that may have been last week or maybe it was the week before, we were talking about, somebody was giving some, another guy hell about saying it's tough in cattle. Right?
Yeah.
Well, but it is because like I'm about to buy some, and I had to. Like I did mention, I had to get my line of credit increased because I was like, we're going to buy about the same number we always buy, but it's going to cost us a hell of a lot more than it normally does, and we're probably not going to make any more than we normally do. You hope you just
y'all are getting into like row crop territory there.
Yeah, because
you just spend a fortune just to try to make about
right
5 to 10%.
Now my homegrown calves, like, well, heck yeah, because my costs are up on what it takes for me to home raise one, just because cost of everything is up. But yeah, the cow calf guy is the one who's probably making out the best right now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's well, I've been scheming because I'm gonna get into all for the farm store. I want to have beef there, and I'm gonna have to go through the ranks of, I guess, getting USDA certified
Right.
to do it the proper way. But I've been looking at breeds, and I know we've talked about on here, no crap on the Angus guys, but it's really just, and honestly, that's just a thing of good marketing on the Angus side of things. But I'm kind of leaning towards Black Baldies for just strictly good beef.
Well, and a lot of times, like just going through like a sale ring, at a feeder cattle auction, a Baldy will do as well or maybe even better than a straight black because, they're 90% black, and so a Baldy can still qualify as certified Angus.
Oh, really?
They have to be over 50% black. Now they have to hit some other, benchmarks too. But yeah, you've got that hybrid vigor. I mean, everybody knows that a crossbred animal typically is going to just perform.
Yeah.
So yeah, Baldies are really, desirable.
Well, that's from what I had read, what I was kind of looking at, and I don't know, I was kind of nerding out this whole weekend. On the Angus side, you kind of get the like supreme tenderness, but then with the Herefords, you get like the deep, rich flavor. Like they were like instead of sacrificing for them, and then you get the good disposition of just a Hereford cattle. Because I know some guys were like, man, I like a Brahma for some beef, which I think they're leaner.
Yeah.
But they sometimes can have a weird disposition, which, you had some of them. And
yeah, it just depends. Just across the board on average, yes, they can be a little more
high strung.
Yeah. But I mean, I've had some of the gentlest cows I've got are crossbreds, they're 50% or 3/8 Brahman. And, so it it's a lot of the nurture versus nature kind of thing. But yeah, typically, right, Hereford has a really good reputation for docility. But I mean, you get crazy ones in every bunch.
Yeah. What about a beef master?
So you got a lot of Brahma influence there. So I forget exactly what percentage they go back to being Bos Indicus. But yeah, that's one that's heavily Brahma influenced. Santa Gertrudis, and of course they cross Brahma, which is about everything. You got Sembras and Brayfords and Brangus. It's probably the most popular. But of course, really where the Brahman genetics are nice is in the South because they're more heat tolerant, a little more insect and bug tolerant, some of the issues we deal with. And they're just generally pretty tough cattle. You don't have to pamper them. They can, a lot of times if you got sub-optimal forage, they'll just do good. And really maternal.
Aren't Herefords similar in that aspect?
Man, it just depends. I messed up a little bit in that when I was messing with some registered Herefords. Some of those, they really pamper them, especially if somebody, if they're doing some show cattle too. And so, I mean, nothing wrong with that. We want everybody to take good care of their cattle, but, really for a commercial cattleman,
need them to be pretty hardy.
Yeah, you want them to be able to get out there and hustle and graze, and then this time of year if you're feeding hay, not have to be feeding them horse quality hay, and a bunch of feed just to keep them in good body condition. So I don't know, like a good commercial Hereford herd, you probably get some good genetics that may be a little better than what I got into because somebody's like, man, they're just just the bloodlines they had come from. They've done a lot of showing and stuff, and so they were always feeding them really, really well. And so then whenever I would expect them to go out there and get by with just eating hay and a little protein, just a little bit of supplemental feed during the winter, and then have a calf and get bred back. Some of those I noticed, they're just, I don't know if they're made for this.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's very small sample size, me making that judgment. Let me say the same thing about Angus and any other straight. That's why the crossbred cattle and that Baldy kind of gets a good reputation. All right, you're crossbreeding that Angus and that Hereford and kind of getting the best traits, hopefully, from each breed.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're cool looking. I like the black with the white face. I just think they're cool looking cows. I know the beef masters I thought were pretty good looking cows. They were big, look like a big hardy cow, but I don't know their traits. I'm not sure that they're beef quality versus like a Baldy.
Yeah. Just again, a lot of people, they're going to knock them. They're going to say, the people that don't like the Brahma influence so much, but yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. Thinking going the route of the Baldies for the beef. I feel like it'd be a good area to go.
Oh yeah. No, I don't think you'd go wrong there at all.
I got this bull out here. I wonder if he's what classifies. I got my little bull out here. He's black with a white face.
He's just crossbred.
He's got the look of a Baldy.
Well, and I mean a bald, technically all people anything black, white face, they're going to call it a black Baldy.
Yeah.
So, a true F1 Baldy, most everybody's referencing a
Angus Herford.
Angus Herford cross.
Yeah.
But a lot of people call a Brangus Hereford cross, they'll call them super Baldies, because they're depending on what percentage Brangus you were.
Yeah.
So you had F1 Brangus, so then you got that animal's a quarter Brahma, a quarter Angus, and half Hereford. But yeah, there's different ways of doing it. I like those because you still got the black Baldy, you're going to get the premium, it's a sale barn, if you're selling, your steer calves, don't have too much Brahma influence to where they're really going to dock you, most of the time, especially around here, in more southern region. And, but yeah, you still got that black hair.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there you go. Well, that's kind of the plan. And yeah, anybody that has been asking me about the YouTube, it should be some point.
So good deal. Going to be making some, tallow or some tallow lotion and some tallow candles.
Yep. Whatever, we're experimenting, man. We ain't taking nothing off the board.
From my experience, I can tell you, if you really want it to take off, have your wife making them in a bikini. Yeah. I need to do that. Yeah. The YouTube audience they're simple creatures.
I
have a lot of loyal viewers that watch all my videos, but the few times where, I never set out to do it, feature my wife in a bikini, but also it's we were doing a little landscaping in a couple of videos around the swimming pool.
Yeah, you had some good comments.
Yeah.
My favorite one was
not gonna shy away from it if it.
I still like the dude that was like, I'm suddenly, what do you say? I'm craving milk.
Yeah, some of them borderline inappropriate, but yeah.
Yeah, good stuff, man.
It's I don't know why this video got 10 times the views my last one did, where I was just tagging calves, cutting hay. But
that could be your niche on there, man. Just start getting her to just work all the cows, but just do it in a bikini.
Well, you see,
there's woodworking videos, the chick, she woodworks in a bikini.
I think she has crossed the algorithm has put her on my suggested videos before. There's some that fish and do some of that stuff too. It's wow, I wonder why these are so popular.
Yes. All right. Oh, Brock's got something fired up out there.
He's doing a little remodeling.
Yeah, trying to fix the floor and different stuff in the house over there. They got it doing pretty good.
Oh.
All right, I got a few topics here. Actually, before I get into those, I had a couple articles that I looked up.
Which a big current news thing, and best I could find was on the confirmation hearing for Brooke Rollins. It's today. I don't think she's officially been confirmed, or I guess it's not even guaranteed that she will be, but they had the hearings this morning.
Hell, I'll play the clip I shared on our Instagram of kind of her.
I didn't watch any of it, but I heard some of the talking points she had. And
Well, for those of you wondering, like that are our listeners here, let me see. I'll play this for y'all so y'all can hear a little bit from Brooke herself here, if it'll load.
I fully recognize that if I am confirmed, I am stepping into the role during one of the most economically challenging times in American agriculture history. With that in mind, I want to share with you as I close my top priorities for day one, and then perhaps a longer term priority. First, we must ensure that the disaster and economic...
Uh-oh, lagging.
It is. I don't know why it's showing I got 5G right here. They don't want us to share it. Well, let me see. Hold on, the Wi-Fi I think should work.
Assistance authorized by Congress is deployed as quickly and as efficiently as possible. Second, we must work with the great men and women of USDA, the stakeholder communities, and state leaders, my deep background in state policy, to immediately and comprehensively get a handle on the state of animal disease outbreaks. Third, we must immediately begin to modernize, realign, rethink the United States Department of Agriculture, responding to the clear needs and the desires of the American people as set forth so well by the President of the United States over this last historic week. And finally, and longer term, we understand that serving all American agriculture and all the American people means ensuring that our rural communities are equipped and supported to prosper not just today, but tomorrow and the day after that and the many tomorrows to come. This includes exploring improvements to our rural development programs, demanding strong and steady domestic and export markets for our beautiful agriculture bounty, eliminating burdensome and costly regulations that hamper innovation, ensuring our nutrition programs are effective and efficient, and putting in the work to make sure we have a healthy and prepared next generation of farmers, ranchers, entrepreneurs, innovators, and indeed all Americans.
So I like what she's saying.
Well, I like some of it, and I mean, we could nitpick, and I don't know, a lot of it, which I may be an extremist here. Like, I wish she'd just take a blowtorch to the USDA, clean house. You know, what I really want to see them get away from is, you know, a lot of the business as usual, the big corporate control over, you know, everything and the way the subsidies work and how, you know, I think we have stated several times, we don't think the subsidies ultimately long-term help the farmer.
Yeah.
You know, certainly not the smaller, you know, independent guy. You know, that money ends up in the pockets of the big corporate groups, you know, you know, the rising cost of everything. I think we need a reset on all that. And all those subsidies do is just keep a lot of things inflated. I know that's a pretty. I can understand she's not going to come in there and just say that, because that would be really, you know, controversial.
Oh yeah.
You know, especially with a lot of the powers that be that are still around. You know, kind of the swamp rats of the ag world. So I don't know. Yeah, it's the confirmation hearings are a little bit of a dog and pony show. It's like, you know, you just got to get up there and say the right things. You know, shake the right hands. Get through that whole process, and
well, I'm curious,
but I'm optimistic. This is not a shot at her. She's kind of like, I don't know that we're gonna know for a while, you know.
No, I'm curious to hear. She piqued my interest talking about the markets, because that's where I'm curious. I'm like, what are you going to do for the markets? Because that's what you know, a lot of farmers I've talked to. One of the big things they say, they're like, we just need and I don't know how you'd ever do this. And again, it's like, but also we don't want the government's involvement. So it's kind of like catch-22, but it's like, we need a bottom line. Like, several farmers, and they're all older farmers, have told me, they're like, we just need a point where markets cannot go below a certain point. And it's like, I just don't know how you would do that.
Yeah, I don't know how, because I think having a totally open free market ultimately, you know, at least in theory, sounds the most appealing to me. Let's figure out what it makes sense, you know, where the price makes sense for everybody. You know, if cost per bushel is too low, then we're just going to quit growing it. And obviously then, you know, the price is going to go up, then you should find a spot. one of the articles I read, she really talked about ethanol, and I don't know, the ethanol thing. I mean, I know it's a big deal for corn growers especially. They want as much corn being made into ethanol as possible, just driving up that demand. But is there really a consumer demand for it? And is it just propped up by subsidies? And then it's not too much different than all the stupid wind and solar energy and that sort of stuff that really doesn't make any sense. But it is propped up again just by all the subsidies and whatnot. If the market demands it and people want it, by all means, make all the corn into ethanol, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I guess we'll see. Ag is we're in a weird kind of almost like a limbo where you got a lot of people. You got the farmers here, and then I feel like the every other, like the average American here, and RFK is kind of in the center. He said a lot of things, and I liked some of the things he said, and other things I'm like, that'll never happen. And I've had a lot of the people outside of ag tell me, like, they're not being ugly. They're like pumped up. They're like, man, I can't wait. And they'll be like, they're going to support you small farmers, and they're going to do away with all the chemicals. And I was thinking, I'm like, well, I don't know how that's going to work. Like, because we use those chemicals. Like, I'm not a huge farmer, but I definitely use the chemicals. And it's not that I'm saying, we've talked about on here before about chemicals and how there's probably some stuff in there that probably is not great. But at the same time, it's like we've said, it's got to be baby steps. Like if they just came out tomorrow and somehow, this isn't going to happen because I was telling someone this, said big ag has a very strong arm. Like big ag is just as powerful, probably, like it's right up there with big pharma and all them. Like that's a very, very powerful group. You're not just going to come in and say, no more chemicals. Like it just ain't going to work that way. And so, because if you did that, if somehow they waved a wand, they were like, all chemicals are gone. Dude, I don't know what we'd do. Like you would have basically no food. Like it would shut down agriculture because the people that do it with no chemicals, like this regenerative style or something, they're like, I don't know the percentage of what they are in terms of total farms, but it would be an insanely low percentage, like probably 1%.
And you'd have people adapting, and whether that would mean you're truly organic or not, but you can immediately expect, yields are going to go down, which, price probably going to go up, cost of food going to go way up.
I just saw people arguing, not arguing that. I saw someone ask that on a post on Instagram. Someone was talking about doing away with chemicals. And one of the first comments was a person, and she commented and she said, if they do this, will that increase our prices at the grocery store? And I didn't comment, but I was thinking, I'm like 100%.
Yeah, because I think it would even be more, because a lot of people, and of course you're speaking from a place of privilege, you're like, well, I buy all organic anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I would think that price would even go up from there. It's not like you just, instead of buying all the conventional whatever at the store, now you're having to buy the organic. Well, because it would all only be organic, and now everybody would be buying organic, that demand, naturally has to go way up. I don't know. I'm not I don't have the crystal ball to know what that would do to food prices. And you got a lot of people that, they struggle to put food on the table as it is. And so, I think in a perfect world, just let the consumer decide which they want. If they want to buy organic, and that keeps driving the price up for that, and that's good for the guys that grow it that way. If other people, either if it's just because they simply can't afford it, or they don't see the value in it, they don't believe in it necessarily, they want to buy conventional, let them buy conventional.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I think you're going to probably have, my just general belief or expectation is you're going to have a lot of people that are going to be really disappointed, because I just personally don't think we're going to see that much change in the agriculture industry.
I'm skeptical that we're going to. I hope that they come in and make some huge changes. Like she was talking about, getting rid of some regulations. I could come up with all kinds. that I think would be good. But yeah, I mean, how much of that are they going to actually be able to get done? Because they're going to get a lot of pushback from some really powerful groups. Some that kind of a lot of people think of as being friends of the farmer.
Yeah.
Which I'm always like, yeah, I don't know that they are necessarily. Like they make themselves out to be a grassroots group and that sort of thing. But there's a lot of big corporate, influence behind a lot of those.
I've had a real eye-opening, like kind of a realization on that after this past year. It's like when things are good, a lot of these big companies, you're the man, you're like the golden boy, whatever. And then you hit like the bad years and they're like, whoa, like they don't want to help you. And it's not, and I'm not like, it's probably not the companies. What I'm talking about is probably not the companies that you're thinking about that are listening, because some of the big companies also have been phenomenal for me to work with this year. I mean, which I've talked across the board. Farmers across the board lost money last year. Like, it's just, that's no secret. And a lot of the lenders are helping them, and companies are helping them. But there is some that people like really thought these guys will have my back in a bad year. And this is the first bad year, and some of them just do not have your back. So, yeah. You need to be, I think it's good to have some skepticism in there.
Well, and I mean, a company I work closely with, have a great relationship with, but somebody like Farm Credit, I would dare say, like, they're at the corporate level, they are big fans of the subsidies.
Yes,
because that's their money ultimately. I mean,
yes,
the money ends up with people like them, and then So,
well, I do it. Yeah, Farm Credits. I do a lot of financing through Farm Credit.
Oh yeah, and I love
my lender that I got there. Yeah,
but it's just like,
they're at the end of the day, they are in the business of making money.
The big equipment manufacturers, all those, like, they need to see all the subsidies, because if these farmers are getting, hundreds of thousands of dollars in subsidies every year, well, then I can keep raising the price of a tractor and a combine and a hay baler and everything else.
And I'm going to tell you, I was surprised too, because I had talked to some of my kind of financial guys, and early when I saw things weren't great, and I was like, kind of figuring out a game plan for the progressing forward. And I had mentioned, I was like, I think, because a lot of the older guys that have kind of been through this, some of them told me, they're like, well, you refinance. Like, you kick the can down the road and go for a better year. Like, that's just what you got to do. And so I had kind of mentioned that to some of my finance guys, and they were like, well, I don't really know that. I don't want to do that and this and that. And, man, I just try to keep it a little bit undercover, or not undercover, but won't say any names. But one of the big companies that I do a lot of business with, that dude was like, dude, I was kind of talking to him and asking him how things were, and he was like, yeah, they're terrible. He said, it's awful. And he said, man, if you need to change anything, you need help with anything, he said, I can help you out. And I said, well, I kind of wouldn't mind refinancing this. And he said, well, let me check. And hell, we actually refinanced it, and it dropped my interest rate about 1%. So dropped my note and dropped my interest rate and kicked the can. So it gave me a little bit of breathing room. And that's kind of what the older guys in it have told me. They're like, man, you more or less, you're just kicking the can down the road and hoping for better. Yeah. I'm like, man, it's a bad feeling, but
yeah, you can't do that, but for so long.
Yes. Yep. And so that's where, talk to all your people. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, because you got to remember, like I said, these companies, they are in the business of making money, unless you just have some mentor who literally doesn't care about making money, and they're strictly there just to help guide you. Like it's like a family friend that doesn't even get paid off of anything you do. Otherwise, I take everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be, I don't know where we're going to be in 10 years.
I don't either. I mean, we'll be bigger than Joe Rogan. That's all I know. This show, we will be.
If we can get people to leave us a rating and a review.
That's right. I know, damn it.
Share it with a friend.
All right. Let's see. What was the next one I had? So, yeah, we talked about Brooke.
Yeah, only time's going to tell, which I guess, again, officially she's not confirmed yet. I don't think anybody's expecting her to not get through the process. Check, I hadn't really kept up. I don't know, like some of the other cabinet members, have they, I know they've had a bunch of hearings. I don't know if they all come up for vote. I really don't understand the
Shit,
whole
I don't
process.
either.
I kind of halfway understand it.
That's how I am. I don't even, I halfway pay attention. Here's just a kind of an interesting story. A news topic here about a dude in Oklahoma ranch manager. He arrested on 83 felony counts of larceny of livestock. 60-year-old Stewart, he's an Oklahoma man, He was arrested January 8th by the Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers Association Special Ranger. Damn, that's a long title there. A Special Ranger. Wonder if they can kill people like in Yellowstone and like not have to
Just
do
dump
it.
the bodies.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to say, well, I don't know.
Well,
I'll say they're not supposed to, but who knows?
I was going to say they might. The dude's name is not Stewart. It's in Stewart, Oklahoma. The guy's name is Daryl Morris. It's 83 felony charges of larceny for unlawfully selling cattle owned by his employer. I don't really understand what larceny is.
I think it's just a fancy word for theft. Isn't
Okay.
It? Like
that sounds about right.
Maybe like a specific type of theft.
I've had the
So
whiskey.
he worked for some kind of a big outfit.
Yeah, it said the investigation began in December of 24. Dang, this was quick. After Special Ranger Hyde received evidence and a witness statement indicating that Morris, the manager of the ranch, had stolen 83 yearling cattle between January and December from the ranch. He sold them for over $108,000. That seems cheap. For 83?
It depends on
what yearling. Size. What size would that be?
I mean, yearlings might. Yeah, that would be.
Could that be 500 pounders?
Yeah, they're probably bigger than that as yearlings. I mean, it depends on what they're calling a yearling, but which I don't know if they were hot, he might have been like one of those deals where he was just trying to dump them.
Yeah, it said he transported them to several livestock auctions.
I mean, he may have been, if he was stealing 1 and 2 here and there, you don't, sell them like that. You don't get, near as good of money
dinging on the radar.
as if you were.
Well, gotcha.
You don't sell them, as opposed to you having 1 truckload with 83 of them. But yeah, that's probably a little, I don't know how big an outfit he was working for or whatnot, but if you're just swiping 1 or 2 here and there, that might go unnoticed. I don't know what's happening to these calves.
Yeah. Man, something keeps getting
predators
them.
keep getting them during the night. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was arrested at his home, Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers Association. That's kind of interesting. The special ranger of that. Again, I guess they got like a law of power.
Yeah, I've heard of the Texas Southwest Cattle Raisers Association, but I always thought they were just like a group. Like
that's what it sounds like to me. But
they have actual authority. Like they have
apparently
special rangers. They're special.
They are like Doofy off of Scary Movie.
Yeah.
Doofy, you remember Doofy?
I don't know that I remember exactly.
You just got to look him up. He was a special ed guy for them.
He was that kind of special.
Yeah. But actually he was just pretending and he was banging the like reporter chick.
Okay.
So, but yeah, dude got arrested. So guys, just don't be cattle rustling, like this. Just be an honest person. A little more.
It must have just been a super huge outfit where he thought, I can swipe 1 or 2, and eventually 83, and maybe nobody will notice they're missing.
I was gonna say, if I had 83 come up missing, then that would mean that somebody that'd be about 76 or something more than I even have.
Right. It has to. I mean, pretty good size outfit just to have 83 calves, period. But it must be a really big outfit for him to think that he could get away with it, which clearly he didn't. So I don't know. Maybe he just wasn't very smart. Maybe he was special.
I think he was special. Sounds like it. Another thing here we got, and I thought this was interesting because this is actually, it's 2 different news articles, but it's about some of the same business or same company. Old Purdue Farms, man, they've been in the news here lately.
What have they done?
Well,
just on a previous story, the old Boar's Head thing.
Yeah.
I saw their truck was up here at our local store the other day.
I had seen it. I guess it didn't.
I guess they didn't go completely under, or maybe they sold their truck or sold everything. And they just hadn't replaced the wrap and all on their trucks. It's like, they're delivering.
I guess they're still going.
But I'm like, I sure as heck, after hearing that article, I was like, I'm not picking up any Boar's Head products.
I'm not either. That's what I've been up there and I'm like, I find something else.
Because that's like a premium product. Like, you pay a lot more for the Boar's Head.
Oh, yeah.
I would get their pickles.
Yeah, their pickles were good.
Like for their hamburgers, like their hamburger dill pickle chips. It's like, oh, yeah. And then some of like the little specialty meats and whatnot. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm the same. I haven't bought any of it since that all came out.
So what did Purdue Farms do?
Purdue Farm, they got to pay $8 million in violation fines. It says it's two multi-billion-dollar meat packing companies will each pay $4 million.
On the turkeys?
No, for child labor.
Okay.
They had illicitly employed dozens of children through staffing agencies. And it's crazy. This was in Salisbury, Maryland. It says they were accused of employing children since 2020 in hazardous occupations at a poultry processing plant. Okay, in Accomack, Virginia, which included the use of electric knives and a heat sealing press. The children were hired through Staff Management Solutions, which was fined $125,000 for the child labor allegations. The agreement with JBS USA, based in Greeley, Colorado, follows a 2022 probe that found the company's cleaning contractor employed dozens of children at its facilities, according to the Labor Department. They were fined, Packer Sanitation Services, it was fined $1.5 million. So, yeah, I guess it was JBS and Purdue, it sounds like.
Yeah, well, there was a thing yesterday I saw where Cargill is going to pay a $32 million settlement over price fixing, but it was in turkeys. I think it said that it was part of a class action lawsuit against Cargill and other companies like Tyson and Butterball. It's like Purdue, I know they're chicken. I wonder if I would assume they might be in turkeys too. But
basically what this means is you need to support your local processors and that aren't, if they're employing children, it's probably their own children.
Right.
And in that case, hey man, that's just the life of being involved.
That's just part of being a farm kid.
I was going to say, that is. I was just talking yesterday, we had a seed meeting with Helena and their guy, John. I'm going to try to get him on here. He's like a freaking wizard when it comes to seeds. We were talking about driving when you're like 12. And he said, because he was talking about, he said, man, I was driving when I was like 13 years old. And I said, oh, yeah, me too. And I told him, I said, I had to haul a load of hay with that C65 out here. I said, I had to drive it down to our shed at Double Bridge. I said, not a long drive. And I said, I think I was like 14 or 15.
Yeah.
And I said, and I was scared to death because I had never drove that truck on the road.
Yeah.
And that's what he was like, man, yeah, that's just part of being a farm kid. And I said, it is. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a lot different whenever you're employing somebody else's children and you're making them use like electric knives.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wonder, was it a bunch of immigrant labor? Because that's what a lot of those meat packing plants.
It doesn't say. It says that the investigators on some of these.
I guess they could prove that they knew they were underage. Because,
yeah.
I mean, I imagine they say, well, we don't know. I mean, they said they were 16, 18, whatever, however old they had to be legal. And, yeah. It's
all based on, man, it sounds more like anything like it's based on the fact that they were using dangerous equipment.
Okay.
Yeah, it says the Fair Labor Standards Act prohibits 14 and 15-year-old teens. And they had them working late hours too. It says working past 7 p.m. on weekdays. And this here, apparently, according to the Fair Labor Standards Act, prohibits 14 and 15-year-old teens from working before 7 or after 7. Yeah. So during the school year.
You have to work from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Yeah, yeah. So, JBS, it sounds like Purdue is one of the $4 million in restitution, and JBS was somewhere in the mix there. But, guys, that's just why you need to don't support the big, huge people, support your local stuff. Also, Purdue Farms, they're shutting down the Tennessee plant.
Where's their plant in Tennessee?
It is in, I guess Monterey, Tennessee. Yeah, Monterey facility. It would close in late March. 430 people are losing their jobs.
They do just chickens there? Or?
It says the company best known for its chicken, so I guess so. It says this decision is incredibly difficult, but it's necessary to ensure Purdue remains fit for the future. We must make challenging choices today to continue to serve our customers and consumers effectively. So, Yeah, it says based in Salisbury, Maryland, Purdue Farms, founded in 1920. It has more than 20,000 workers and annual sales of more than $10 billion, focusing on poultry, livestock, and other ag. So they're shutting down the Tennessee plant because, it kind of, when I was kind of researching some of this stuff, my little Terminator friend that I use to ask questions sometimes, it was like, now would be a good time to open a processing plant because with the Purdue closing. And there is, man, I would say the state of Tennessee, they do have some pretty humongous grant things for if you wanted to open a processing plant. They'll pay up to, it's kind of like the Tennessee Ag Enhancement. They'll pay up to like 30%, but they'll pay all the way up to like $10 million.
Yeah.
Which you could build a pretty hellacious facility. If 30% of that was $10 million, that'd be a pretty big ass facility. I mean, you're talking a $40 million facility.
It'd be big, but it wouldn't be anything like what some of those facilities
are. Yeah, no. But you could, like, if you put one of them around here, I don't think you'd have any trouble clearing it out. Like, I don't think you'd ever be bottlenecked up around here with a $30 million facility.
Oh, you mean as far as just doing local processing?
Yeah, maybe do your own and local, like, because that's one of the guys around here. There's a dude around here that did use the grant, and I think he told me he got $800,000.
Yeah,
they built a facility, and so I don't know, guys. With all this shift, like we're still kind of in that thing, seeing what's going to happen. Trump's in there. I did hear he might abolish the federal income tax. He's already signed some.
I'm not holding my breath on that.
I'm not either, but he's already signed some stuff I liked in place. So I'm just kind of like, we'll just see what happens. But support your local guys. If that shows, if you don't want a 12-year-old kid at midnight using an electric saw, then you need to
cut up your chicken wings. Yeah.
Yep, you need to support your local guys. Find some of them, and that's about all I got on there. We got about enough time to wrap this up before I got to go pick up my kids. You got to go pick up your kids. Let me see. Let me see real quick.
Get them home and we'll do some child labor.
Yeah.
Have them help me feed animals this evening.
I need to make them, I need to make mine render this tallow.
Use some sharp knives to cut it up.
I do have to. I'll give them like one of my Montana Knife Company knives. You chop a finger off with that thing.
Yep.
We're going to read it. I'm going to read this email real quick. This comes from Brandon from East Tennessee. Hey guys, I have a question for both of you. Have you guys ever considered having a live show? Another question for Bobby Lee. A lot of talk on some TikTok channels I follow about keeping back heifers or selling them to buy bred young cows. What are your thoughts? Thanks, guys. Love the show. Keep up the good work.
I think a lot of people will tell you, and especially with, it depends on which source is going to be on the young bred cows, I would say. But yeah, so you've got some 700-pound heifers that you can sell as feeder heifers, guarantee them open, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, they're bringing better money than, say, if you had time to go to a local sale barn, and just buying young bred cows that are coming through the sale weekly. A lot of those don't bring. Well, I can pull up that same report from this week at that one local auction. Let's see here. So, bred cows, 5 to 8 years of age, and this was only one head, brought $1,600. Here's some more bred, 2 to 4 years old. They brought anywhere from $1,525 to $1,800.
Yeah.
That same sale, especially if you had like a truckload of them, 68 heifers in one load mixed, 738 pounds, brought 247. So I'm gonna do some quick math. 738 times 2.47. Yeah, so those heifers, just at 700 pounds that are open, 1822. You could turn around and you could have bought, even on the high end, like you're basically trading an open heifer for a young bred cow.
Yeah.
And so that cow's already bred, and, depending on where she is, she may even be close to dropping one on the ground. The tricky part with that is you don't know what you're buying a lot of times, just at a sale barn. And then if you go to like a special, replacement female sale, you're going to pay a lot of money for a lot of those heifers. They are young bred cows. They might be $2,500, $3,000, maybe more. But yeah, and I know, which of course a lot has changed since I was an undergrad, but one of our animal science professors back at that time, he always, of course, a lot of us grew up on farms, and most of us, our dads and whatnot, because we were in college, we didn't own cattle at the time, but say, keeping back your own replacement heifers is stupid. You can, you need to sell them, and you can buy replacements, that are already bred, or like a young bred cow is probably really, because buying bred heifers is fine. I've done it plenty of times, but you buy that 3 or 4 year old cow that's, already calved, had a calf, got bred back, she's a little more proven. But again, just going through your weekly auction where all you know about her is her age and her, pregnancy status. Like, yeah, she's 6 months bred and she's, 3 to 5 years old. Okay, well, why is she here? Yeah. Is she an absolute idiot? Which if you're sitting there at the sale ring, you know what to look for. Maybe you get a pretty good judge of that. Or maybe she's not an idiot, but she's one she's constantly looking for a hole in the fence, just kind of a rogue in that manner. Or maybe maybe she lost a calf last year and it wasn't her fault. The calf, got stepped on, and broke its leg, or maybe she prolapsed. They lost the calf. They put the prolapse back in, got her bred back, but no good and well, she's going to prolapse again this year, so they sent her to the sale
Calling
barn.
that off on you.
So
nobody would do that.
I think that market, there's potential there, and there's potential there to probably come out even further ahead than in some of these other classes of cattle. If you really know what you're doing, you really know what you're looking for, you got time to be with them. It's like Taylor was talking last week about buying thin cows, that are, I don't remember if he said he was buying thin bred cows and then just putting some weight on them, then turning around and selling them, or buying, just open cows and then getting them bred. I've talked to people that's what they do. They'll buy a bunch of open cows, but young open cows, they look good. Yeah. Get them bred, and then they'll sell them just as bred cows. Same thing. Cause then they're knowing, they're like, well, she might have an issue where maybe it's like a prolapse, but it's not gonna be a problem. I can get her bred, and then somebody else will be taking that risk. So I don't know. Actually the guy that bought my tractor, he, one thing they do, they buy a bunch of real thin open cows. Some of them that are probably don't need to be kept back for breeding, but they just buy them real thin. They got a bunch of cheap feed. Actually, specifically, he's up in Bourbon country, and they get some of that.
The mash left over.
Yeah, they call it slop water, but it's just that wet mash. Mm-hmm. And he's like, we go to several sales a week, pick up. We like to keep, I forget how many he said, maybe 75 to 100 of these real thin cows. We just keep them in a lot. They got all the hay they want, and we give them that mash because it's.
I got a buddy around here. His dad would go to the distilleries in Memphis, get the stuff and feed it.
It's a pain to handle. Like, you gotta have a special truck to handle that wet mash. Yeah. He's like, we have a route. We pick them up from several of the local distilleries, and heck, we'll keep those cows for just a couple of months. And I'm sure, of course, buying old, thin cows like that, some of them may have something really wrong with them. You may lose one here and there, but you're paying. A lot of times those cows, especially if they're not in great shape, they don't bring anything. Yeah. Like, you take a beating when you sell them. So they keep them for just a little while. Might put a couple 100 pounds on them just like that, and then turn around and sell them. Yep. And might make that money. One, the cow looks a whole lot better, so she's probably gonna bring more per pound. But then two, she's also gained 200 pounds, so they make money on just the weight gain as well. So there's different little areas like that. And like, I look at that like, man, if you had the time and the facilities to do that, and access to a cheap feed source, there's probably more margin there than even like what I'm doing with buying these 600 pound calves and grazing them to 800 pounds. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, there's a lot of different ways to be creative about it. You just need to know what you're good at, know what maybe in your specific area there's you have access to in terms of, again, like the cheap feed source, animals to buy, whatever.
Well, there you go, man. Do that. And as far as live show goes, I thought it would be kind of cool. We'll do a live show, and I mean, even like eventually I'd like for us to do one where we have like a venue and even let people buy some tickets and come to the show.
Well, and like, you know, I guess what's the advantage of doing it live? If it, you know, obviously if you got like a venue and you're doing something like that, I mean, yeah, but I mean, I guess like an actual, you know, radio show where people can call in and ask questions.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Or do we have enough of you that would listen live to,
if we got enough
to communicate or to you know, participate, I guess the word I'm looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, we could stream it on like, you know, on my old show, I had Clay Milliken and I did a live one when I had him on. We did half of it live and the other half later,
Yeah.
so you had to go back and listen. And we
Right.
streamed it on like Facebook and stuff.
Because like I don't know that I've ever really, you know, you get an alert like somebody's going live on Instagram. I'm like, I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, what is? And a couple times I've clicked on them and I'm like, and I guess it's because they're like doing a Q&A kind of
Yeah.
thing.
We could set up, Bobby and I, maybe we might, if we could get enough people to like show interest, I mean, we could set up our phone or the laptop while we're recording.
Yeah, we
and
still
do
have it
live.
available to listen to, you know, in regular
Yeah.
podcast format. But
I think it'd be badass to put together, eventually to put together an actual venue, go to a venue and do one like that.
well, and you know, we do have a pretty big audience right here locally, you know, naturally. But I don't know, do we have enough people that are? But I mean, I'd love for people to fly in to go to it.
Yep.
We got some super fans out there.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Have like 20 seats. Keep it kind of small, the first one, so that if like 5 show up, it doesn't look quite as bad. It's like, well, you know, it's still 40. That's a fourth of the people showed up.
It's like your mom.
Yeah. Then we'd have to do a clean episode though, and then if our mom showed up,
Yeah. Well, I've heard of people, it may have been Clay Travis talking about like doing like a book signing, like at a local bookstore. And he's written several books now. I think he's been pretty successful with some of his later ones, but talk about the first time or something he did it. He said like now if I'm ever anywhere and there's somebody doing a book signing, he's like, I go up there and I buy a book and get them to sign it.
yeah,
He said, I
Just-
don't care if I have zero, you know, intention of ever reading the book, something I don't care about just because I've been there.
yeah,
And I know, yeah, that'd be lonesome. We get there, and, like, it's just us and crickets.
yeah.
Then we would just be like, we couldn't do it live. It was
It didn't work out. Yeah.
technical difficulties. We're just doing a regular one this week.
Yeah. Oh no, that's where we need feedback. Would y'all want us to do like a venue? You know, we'd have like, hell, might
I think
feed you,
that
have
might
some
be
whiskey.
like step 2 or 3.
Yeah,
you know?
I think it'd be kind of cool though.
Yeah.
Let's think of that. All right, we got to get out of here. Before we do, cue up our man. I got a company for us real quick. Brandon, appreciate you writing in, guys. Don't hesitate to write in. Let us know. We do want you to hear your feedback. You want us to do some live stuff on like Instagram, Facebook, and if you like our idea of maybe doing a venue one day, let us know.
Let me start off with 2 words. Made in America.
Okay, I got a brand here. I took a picture of this thing the other day. My wife had it in the house. Well, she had just bought some. So this is something we use all the time. Yeah, here it is. All right. Use this all the time. Like a baking sheet.
Okay.
Nordic Ware since 1946. Made in USA.
So it's like a cookie sheet.
Yep, cookie sheets. Yeah, and you can't read it there, but they're made in USA.
Nordic Ware.
And they're natural non-stick, so it's not supposed to have like PFAS in it or something, I guess. But lifetime durability. It's got a little Viking head on there.
Yeah.
But
It's a good Nordic
yeah,
symbol.
there you go. See, made, American made, family owned.
There you go.
And,
Go out there and find you some Nordic Ware.
Nordic Ware. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I was like, when she put it on the counter and she said, hey, look at our new pans. They're made in USA. And I said, well, I got to take a picture of that. So I took a picture.
Yep.
So get you some Nordic Ware. Use it while you're using that. You need to go check out agsaga.com and get on your stuff. You know, like I said, spring's coming up. Need to be gearing up for spring, getting ready for the season to roll on. So use our code, Talk Dirt, all caps, all one word. And what else do they need to do?
Leave us a rating and review.
Leave us a rating and
I mean,
review.
that goes without being said. And I know we hammer that. Seriously, guys, there's a bunch of you listening right now that haven't done that.
Yeah.
We're at the end. As soon as this goes off in about 30 seconds, just go click on the 5 stars. Say, hey, you guys suck, whatever. That's fine. It still helps the algorithm.
It does. It does. So, all right, guys, we'll catch you next week.
Yep.